Right. This is some Donkus show. I'm Michael Ball.
I'm David Ford.
And I'm Kyle Ball.
Alright, today, and this is actually something that in hindsight we maybe should have done earlier since it's kind of where we got the name of our show. But we're going to be talking about Adventure Time. And so to kind of give us, because this is one of these topics that's we're all fans. We could talk about it for a real long time. So kind of to just have a more controlled conversation, somewhat. We are going to be, each of us have picked out 5 episodes that we each really like, and we will be explain why we like them and so on and so on. So, who wants to start off?
I guess I'll start. First episode I mentioned is Marceline's Closet.
That's a good one.
Which one's that? I don't remember all the titles.
Marceline's Closet is where they're gonna, Finn and Jake are gonna play, do some songs with,
with Marceline the vampire.
And she's out, and so they're gonna play hide and go seek, and they sneak into her house, which they're not supposed to, and she gets home, so they hide in her closet and are trying to escape from her house without her noticing.
I will say that episode probably has the funniest moment in all of Adventure Time.
It actually does, yeah. There's just one moment in it that is so fucking funny that, like...
I can't help but laugh just thinking about
it. It's amazing. And in it, for whatever reason, Finn and Jake are mighty heroes, and there's this little spider that, through the episode, they're terrified of. I mean,
that's a really scary spider.
It's a scary spider, but it's the size... It's the size of a regular spider that you can just step on. And anyways, they're trying to sneak out and be really quiet, and the spider lands on Finn's face, and he bats it out of the way, and it lands on Jake and bites him. And Jake lets out, makes the motion that he's silently screaming.
And it's really fucking funny.
And he's, crying and, crawling on the ground. It's amazing.
It's so good.
Yeah, that part is,
Is that why you picked that episode?
It's one of the reasons.
It has some other really funny parts.
Another time...
My broom!
When Marceline says that, I just love that line. She says it amazingly. But I love when Finn has the idea to send a note to her, and so he's going to throw a paper airplane. She's supposed to notice this note, and that she's supposed to go to their house. But he says it's going to do double barrel roll, cook some eggs, do all this crazy stuff. And so he throws his plane, it does a double barrel roll, goes downstairs, cooks some eggs, and does all this stuff, and flies back up to Marceline. But instead of landing neatly on her bed, it just goes into a trash can.
That's right.
That part's funny. And
I love, one other time he goes to scope the scene, and he sneaks into Marceline's bathroom where she's, presumably completely naked, getting ready for a shower, and Finn just sees her and goes red-cheeked and just backs up silently all the way back to the closet and is just disturbed.
Yeah. I also really like the part where Marceline finally finds him, and Jake turns himself into Finn.
Yeah, they're trying to hide. They're trying to hide, so Finn puts on a lampshade and pretends to be a lamp, and Jake just turns into Finn lounging on the ground.
Yeah.
That was a good episode.
That is a good episode. So, one of the episodes I picked is Goliad.
Oh, me too.
Oh, okay. Well, you can talk about Goliad. I'll use my runner-up.
I purposely didn't put that because I figured that was going to be on one of your 2 lists.
Goliad was a good episode.
Do you have something you can replace that with? Because I actually have a runner-up that I can...
And no.
Yeah, I'll do my runner-up, which is Hug Wolf.
Hug your mom.
I don't know, Hug Wolf is one of those episodes where it kind of, it's kind of not that funny for a lot of it, because it, really goes just like your typical werewolf story where, they're trying to figure out what's going on and figure out the rules and all that. But, I just love the Hug Wolf because it's such a shit monster, because it's just like a werewolf with big hearts for hands that just wants to hug
and
things.
Feet.
Oh yeah, it also has hearts for feet. And all it wants to do is just hug people. And which, I don't know, I just think is really funny. And there's a part in it where Finn is all tied up so he can't go out and hug people because apparently, people just really hate getting hugged. And Jake has him tied to a chair, and the hug lust comes over
The
Finn.
fervid hug lust.
The fervid hug lust comes over Finn, and he's just like saying stuff like, "I'll hug your mom." And then later when he fights the other hug wolf, they're just like trading off these really stupid like insults on each other, like, "I'm gonna snuggle you to pieces."
You call that a hug?
Yeah. I don't know, I just really like that because it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of like a shit monster.
So I guess the reason I like Goliad is not so much because I remember what happens in the episode, but I really like the ending where it's just like he sacrifices himself to forever be in that like staring contest.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the whole thing was just crazy. Just Goliad is such like a freaky looking thing, and it just behaves like in like just a completely strange, horrible manner, especially when she like goes insane and
Where she basically has never developed emotion, so she ignores that part.
yeah, and then Jake totally ruins her. But yeah, she just goes like crazy and just wreaks all sorts of crazy havoc, and there's this like funny part where Princess Bubblegum is going down to cook up another candy golem, a candy sphinx to fight Goliad, and Finn has to sit there and distract Goliad without thinking about what's going on.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
he just has this insane like
thought process.
where he keeps going back and almost like, because Goliad can read minds, and he keeps almost thinking about what Princess Bubblegum is is telling him to do, and he just keeps making these really crazy ways of like stopping her from talking in his brain.
Yeah, like one of them, he turns Princess Bubblegum's head into a dolphin, but after a moment, the dolphin head starts just talking normally, so he has
and then
to...
it explodes, and then there's like tons and tons of like really gross, like melted Princess Bubblegums talking, and yeah, I like David said, like I found the whole episode to be pretty funny, but the end where, because to me, like one of the in a lot of ways, I don't really consider like the characters in Adventure Time to really be like proper characters, just because the show is it's kind of a slapstick comedy, and like all the characters are pretty fluid in how they'll act from episode to episode, and so you never really know how a character will behave in a given situation. I mean, you have the characters all have basic like guidelines for how they'll work, but it is pretty fluid. But I like how in that, when it's all said and done, you can see that like Finn, via the proxy of his clone, is just like this totally like righteous hero who's completely willing to make this like ultimate sacrifice and like give up his life basically eternally to like combat this evil monster. And so yeah, I thought that was a pretty good ending to that episode.
Do you have anything more you want to say about Gilead since it's your
It
episode?
looks fucking crazy weird.
Yeah, Gilead is
Didn't
beautiful.
it talk with like a baby voice?
Yeah, it was
talks
like a baby
little,
British.
It talks like a little British girl.
It's so weird.
It's
But yeah.
also disgusting when all the children are climbing into Jake.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, Jake goes in there and like because they go into like the kindergarten and like all the kids want to climb inside Jake.
And they're like climbing into his eyelids and stuff.
Yeah, that episode just has some really fucked up stuff going on.
Alright, my second episode I chose is Go With Me.
What one's that?
That's the one where Finn wants to go to movie night, but it's a couple's movie night,
Oh,
so
yeah.
he has to...
Oh yeah.
So he's trying to basically ask out Princess Bubblegum. Well, really, he just wants to see the movie, but everyone thinks he's trying to like win her over romantically. And so it ends up being Jake and Marceline are trying to instruct them in their own ways how to like win her over. And in particular, my favorite way, besides Marceline saying that girls really like wrestling, is she teaches Finn how to act like a wolf, and they actually go like find a pack of wild wolves and run with them and like get in a fight. next scene they're riding wolves back to the castle, and then they throw a pair of really pissed off wolves into Princess Bubblegum's bedroom, and they lock the door.
Yeah, what was the point of that? Was it so Finn could save her, or was it because
No,
Marceline...
just because Marceline thought that all girls like just hanging out with wolves.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, and just another part of that episode, I don't know why, but I love is, this is like the second or third time, third or fourth time Marceline's been around, and, Jake's still kind of scared of vampires, but he decides to call up Marceline for some help to get a woman's insight, and it does a split screen where you see Jake on the phone, just standing in their house, and then it shows Marceline, like, really close up and just a green backdrop. And I didn't notice it at first, but there's a pile of green with dirty laundry in Finn and Jake's house. And so she's like, yeah, I'll be right over. And she just creeps out from underneath this pile of clothing, and it just spooks Jake. And it just goes back to, actually, Marceline's closet, where she mentioned she hangs out in their house all the time and just spies on them. And it was just this really simple joke, but I loved that one.
Yeah.
That's one of the things, I mean, not to go off on a tangent, that I really like about How I Met Your Mother. It's like they include things from like previous episodes, like the slaps bet.
Yeah, that show does a good job going back and referencing things.
Like, I feel like shows don't do that enough unless they're like dramas where they just bring up mishaps that other people made.
Right, and stuff like that is fun. But at the same time, you can kind of almost go too far with it.
Oh, yeah.
And,
where you beat a joke to death.
Yeah, or, like, where something is so insular that, like, it literally is not funny unless you...
know the original.
Unless you know the original. Like, Venture Brothers is totally like that, where the first season works totally fine on its own, but the second season,
if you haven't seen it,
2/3 of the episodes that make no fucking sense unless you've seen like the first. Which, you know, it's fine. Like there's definitely a place for that, but it's kind of weird to see that in like a comedy show.
Yeah. So what's your second episode?
So my second episode is Incendium, which is the first half of the intro to Flame Princess. And I really like that just because, like, it has, like, I love the Flame King. He's, like, first of all, he's got a great voice. He's got that dude who, I forget his name, but the...
Keith David or David King.
Yeah, whoever. Okay, yeah, you know Halo. So
he's one of the two.
Yeah, he's the Arbiter.
He's the Arbiter. I always think of him as Goliath from Gargoyles.
Yeah.
But
he's also in Pitch Black. He's the Holy Man.
That's he's true. In a ton of stuff.
Yeah, he's all over the place.
But yeah, he's funny. I really like what the Flame King looks like, and just I like what all the fire people look like. Like they're all really strange looking. Yeah. And I like the character design for Flame Princess, and I like how throughout the whole episode you think that she's just some regular person who for some reason is in like
a lantern,
a giant lantern, and then you find out at the end that she's in there because she's like completely evil, insane.
And that is another one of my favorite moments in Adventure Time.
I love where
the koala,
the koala, yeah.
Eucalyptus.
Yeah, Jake's trying to give gifts. Like he stretched out his body to look like Finn. And then, he mentions Finn's third gift is the Flame King's favorite thing in the world.
And the Flame King's like, koala bears?
And he's like, yes. And he stretches out his body even more and makes this really sick koala pop out of a box. He goes, eucalyptus!
Yeah. And then, I don't know, it's just really funny. Like, the whole interaction between Jake and the Flame King is just like, it's just nuts. Like, he sings this really shit song that he thinks up on the spot, and I don't know, I just think it's funny, and like the payoff is so good, where the whole time you're thinking that like, you know, that like Flame Princess is just, you know, hanging out, and then like Flame King's all like, yes, your Master Finn would make a perfect match for my evil daughter, and then she comes out and just like starts blowing shit up. Yeah, I thought that was really funny.
Was it your turn?
No, it's your turn.
It's your turn.
Another one I really love is Card Wars. It is so, like, the embodiment of, like, me and my friends.
Oh my god.
Where I am like Jake, I get butthurt like nobody's fucking business. When
all three of us play Magic the Gathering, and like that's the perfect. Card Wars is like the perfect like crystallization of just like certain types of people who play that game where they have like really good cards, but they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
And so
it would be really awesome as if Magic put out like a new ability called flooping.
Flooping.
Like so you can floop something.
By the way, and another perfect example of how that personifies Magic is Jake's like, I'm going to teach you the rules, and it says 2 hours later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Magic in theory is very simple, but at the same time has so many subtle rules and like contradictions that game is not something you can teach without like 2 hours.
Yeah, and Card Wars like does a really good job, I think, of just like explaining just how Byzantine and stupid a lot of the stuff in Magic is.
Yeah.
Where cards will work in ways that like you'd never think, and just weird stuff happens.
Any more you want to say? I mean, once again, it's your episode.
I just like that episode. I think it's really funny.
I really like the monsters in it.
Yeah.
Like the cards are really funny.
And like I just like the sick faces in that episode.
Yeah.
They're so flipping gross.
Yeah, Adventure Time does a lot of like really strange facial expressions, and that episode is like a really good example.
One of my favorite characters is BMO, and he does the kickflip in the episode.
Yeah.
He's just like, I do not play such games with Jake. Kickflip away.
The other
big
part
deal.
that he does in that episode that I actually really like is Finn says he's going to the boys' style room, and he runs away looking for BMO, and BMO drops on his back and goes, BMO chop, and he says, if this were a real attack, you would already be dead.
Yeah. Bemo's a fun character, but
As a side character.
as a side character, he's not one of those. Adventure Time has like over 100 episodes now, and so most of the characters in it have gotten like an episode or two of their own, and BMO, for whatever reason, like the episodes they've had with him,
I liked the BMO new one.
Oh, see, I really didn't like BMO Noir, but
To each their own.
yeah,
Yeah, Mike, let me have my opinion.
No.
shaking my fist at you.
So I guess I'll go on to my third episode that I really like, which is The Eyes.
Which one was this?
This is where Finn and Jake have been adventuring for a week solid, and they just want to go to bed.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh,
the
yeah.
Ice King is in a horse outfit, and he just stares at them constantly.
Yeah, except you don't even notice the Ice King till like the very end of it.
Very
You just think it's some gross horse.
Yeah, and the horse it's dumpy and it has no neck. It's barely like recognizable as a horse. And no matter what they do, they can't get rid of just this dumb stare this crappy looking horse has. It's just staring at them, and they can't sleep, and it's just like nothing really happens. It's just them trying to like murder / remove this horse.
But they throw it down the well at one point.
Now Jake grows huge, puts it away. They put bunny ears on it and have a couple of eagles pick it up and fly away with it. They try to close the blinds, but the moon comes up and reflects the horse's like silhouette onto the blinds, so they can see it staring at them anyway.
Wasn't the Ice King studying them to be friends or something?
He was
like
trying
that?
to find out how to be happy.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
sad.
yeah, the Ice King is a perfect example of a character where you don't know how he's going to behave just because. Well, I think with the Ice King, it's just because he's like fucking nuts. Like half the time he's like trying to be friendly, and then the other half he's like up to no good.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like the episodes with him and Marceline are some of the where they have flashbacks. Those are like some of the only episodes that are like actually are attempting to do like emotions other than like humor.
Yeah.
And they work pretty well, but they're kind of like a jarring tone shift
Yeah.
with comparison to the other episodes. But yeah, my next episode is actually another Ice King episode, and it is Beyond This Earthly Realm, which one of my favorite Ice King like references was in the second episode, the second half of the storyline with the Lich, where Finn finds out that Princess Bubblegum has been possessed by the Lich, and Ice King's like comes in to tell him that right after he's figured it out because he's seen it with his stanky old wizard eyes, and it shows what the world looks like from Ice King's point of view, and it just is full of just like bizarre ghosts and like cartoon things jumping all over the place. And I just thought that was funny because, you know, Ice King's kind of like a weird, crazy dude. So I just like the idea that he sees things in just really weird ways. But beyond this earthly realm, like takes that to the extreme where he basically Finn activates this magic trap that takes him to like the spirit realm. And he's hanging out there, and the only one who can see him is Ice King, because Ice King's got his gross wizard eyes, and Ice King takes him back to his,
That was me.
No.
I'm sorry, folks. Somebody's messaged me on LOL. I gotta get off after I tell them Disney shuts down LucasArts. I already need goodbye. Sorry, dudes. And we're back.
Okay. Yeah, so Ice King's the only guy who can see Finn, and he takes Finn back to his castle so that he can help him. But you find out that like Ice King's castle is just full of these gross like monsters that they can't touch Ice King and he can't touch them.
He can see them.
He can just see them and they totally gross him out. Like there's this one that just hangs out by his toilet all the time.
Oh yeah,
It's just a huge eyeball.
It's just a huge eyeball that hangs out by his toilet. And then there's another one that is like this four-legged dude who like poops out heads. And it's just funny because like Finn has to deal with these like disgusting ghosts to help Ice King.
Who in turn is supposed to help him out.
Yeah, but then of course you find out that Ice King had set the whole trap in the first place to get Finn to hang out with him, because Ice King is just like this really insane, like lonely person who needed to like capture people to like be his friend.
Poor Ice King.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought it was funny because like the ghosts are all really like messed up looking, and yeah.
All right, my next one. I was gonna do web weirdos, but I remembered Abracadabra.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do a wizard battle. Wizard battle.
I have that as well. I'll find it.
Wizard battle is so amazingly awesome, just because of like how like crappy Daniel is first off, and like how insane the battle is overall.
Yeah, Abracadaniel is he's a shit wizard. All
Like,
he
he
can
turns
do,
like everything to rainbows or something.
yeah, all he can cast is cantrip.
Which
What's
is a
cantrip?
D&D
cantrip is like the worst spells.
You
So,
just change things to colors.
That's one
among
of the
other things, it's like cantrip is like the catch-all for like the spell that does anything that doesn't have like an actual in-game effect.
Oh, weird.
So like it lets you change what stuff tastes like, or like make like, I don't know, like a thing the size of like a notepad of paper, except nothing is useful as a notepad paper. And
Or a fart extra stinky.
yeah, it just changes things slightly. It's just like a really awful spell.
If you use your imagination, things like that could become awesome.
Well, I mean, it's stuff like that could be fun if you're like a human, but like for a wizard in Dungeons and Dragons, like being able to like turn like that orc green isn't gonna turn the orc blue isn't gonna stop the orc from like beating you in the face with its mace.
Well, maybe the blue will reflect his inner self, and he'll realize he's super sad.
Right. Anyway, yeah, wizard battle is really funny.
Yeah, I like Wizard Battle a lot, especially because, like, Daniel's so crappy.
Yeah.
And we make fun of our friend named Daniel.
Actually, it's really great because of the character Abracadaniel. Whenever he makes a wizard in any game, if it's a male, it's Abracadaniel, and if it's a female, it's Abracadaniel.
This is our friend Dan, by the way, not the character Abracadaniel.
This is true.
Anyway, I also really like how at the end Finn like ends up beating Abracadaniel by screaming in his ear.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently that's like a legal move in Wizard Battle. The Grand Wizard, however, says that it's the most shameful of all spells, which is the Power Scream.
Shriek.
The Power Shriek.
And then, what's the Ice King line? Hey, guys.
Oh, yeah, they,
As part of their disguise, Finn and Jake is carrying Finn around, and Finn is wearing like these really gross like sunglasses.
and, at the end, Finn's feeling down, so Jake puts him on Finn for a second. He's like, "You look so cool." And then Jake puts him on. Finn's like, "Oh, you look so fly." And it just cuts over to Ice King wearing a different pair of sunglasses. He's like, "How about me? On a scale of 1 to 10, like, 10 being, hey, Ice King, you look... Or like, 0 being not cool at all, and 10 being, hey, Ice King, you look wicked siak.
Siak.
Yeah.
That's like such a good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
Did we explain what Adventure Time is, in case people don't know?
Wow, okay,
This is true.
yeah, now, okay, y'all, now
So
you've been...
anybody's been listening this whole
Now,
time.
now you've been listening for 25 minutes. I mean, I assume that you know what Adventure Time is, but if you don't, it's a show on Cartoon Network, and it basically takes place in like the far, far distant future where after nuclear wars and shit, like everything's gone like kind of weird fantasy style.
But weird fantasy. Like, there's a whole entire city made of people that look like candy. And
No,
in fact,
they're not. They're not. Just
They
look like
are
candy.
candy.
They're made out of candy.
Like, in one episode, they actually have Finn and Jake just collect garbage out of the city and proceed to eat it because it's candy.
Yeah, because everything in that city's made out of candy. Yeah, it's just like a comedy, like fantasy adventure show.
Yeah.
And the main characters are like Finn, who's like a human boy, and
He's like the last human, supposedly.
yeah, and his friend Jake, who's like a magic shape-changing dog.
Yeah.
And they just have adventures.
Yeah, and so it's a comedy show that really they can make up, the world's so strange, they can make up anything for any episode. They have no limits.
Yeah.
So, yes, that's Adventure Time. My fourth episode I listed was actually Wizard Battle, so I'm gonna go to my fifth one, which is actually Thank You, which is a very different episode for them. And this one is actually all about a snow golem and a baby firewolf.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh yeah, I like that episode.
And why I like it is, it's really amusing. It has almost no talking. Like, the snow golem can't make noise, and then the firewolf just barks. But it is such a different episode, and it's just this snow golem tries to get some food, gets chased off by firewolves, and a puppy follows him, and he's trying to take care of it and then get it home. And it's like actually a really like kind of heartwarming thing. And I really like it, but another thing that I love is this would be way too awkward to show and pass, like, in the real episode, but he walks by one morning, and, like, Finn and Jake are fighting Ice King, who's in this giant, non-moving, like, suit of, like, ice armor, his impenetrable ice armor, and they're, like, fighting, and the snow golem runs away, and comes back after he's collected some food, and, like, they're continuing to fight, and then he goes out once more during the evening to give the firewolf some milk off a cow, and all of the character, like, Ice King's sleeping in the armor, and Finn and Jake are in sleeping bags, and, like, Finn just periodically, like, wakes up and hits, like, Ice King with a stick. And then the next day, so this fight's been going on, the next day they, like, Snow Golem walks by, and Finn and Jake have axes, and they're chopping down the armor while the Ice King screams. And at the end of the episode, they have, like, Ice King tied up, and, like, it's just every couple minutes you see this progression of this battle that took, like, a day and a half to do.
Yeah, it's interesting, because, like you said, like, the nominal main characters of the show are barely even in it. It's just one of these ones that is...
Yeah, and like,
just radically different in like subject matter and tone.
Yeah, and the other thing is, like I said, excluding Ice King, Finn and Jake talking, there is no other talking. It's all done by noises and just like actual physical movements. And I don't know, it's a very enjoyable episode. It's just a very different tone, so that's why I like that one.
Okay. The next one I picked is another, like, first part of a two-parter, and that is Return to the Nitosphere. And, the Nitosphere is where,
it's basically hell.
Yeah, it's basically hell. And Marceline, the vampire character, her father is, like, the ruler of hell. And this episode starts out with Finn and Jake waking up in a cage full of bananas in the middle of hell.
Oh, the stuff.
Yeah, and trying to find out why they're there and to get out. And I just like it because like their version of hell is really messed up. Like it's full of like giant like monsters that run around and like are kind of like buses that are like living creatures that are like split in half and you ride around on its insides, and
they're like giant ass legs too, right?
Yeah, and I don't know, it's interesting. It has just like really strange visuals, and then some of the parts of it are just like so hellish. Like just, I mean, not like fire and brimstone wise, but just like so torturous where they want to go meet the boss, and so they have to go stand in line, and the line is this canyon that's like full of people like a river.
Oh wait a second, no, it's because there is another hell, because there's Death's Realm.
There's Death's Realm, but this is the Noosphere, which is hell.
Yeah.
So what's Death's place?
That's like the realm. That's where the dead people go.
Well, demons and monsters live in the Nightosphere.
Oh,
the dead live in Death's Realm.
Okay. Well, at least some of them. I mean, because it talks about like the ninth death level and shit like that.
Yeah.
And so there's multiple, I guess, death places you can go to. But so they have to stand in line in this enormous line, which has like dudes and rowboats just rowing around on top of people's heads.
Oh yeah.
And it's just funny because like it does one of those things where it shows them standing there and then it says 2 hours later, and then they're getting all tired, and then it goes like 5 hours later, and it goes like 2 weeks later, and they're both just like
there's one where like
almost dead and just like sitting there looking all gross and dirty and tired.
There's one where like Finn starts screaming after it does its like 10 hours later or whatever.
Yeah,
Finn just standing there like
yeah, it's like Finn screaming at like 10 hours, and then it goes like 11 hours later, and he's just tired.
Yeah.
And then after that, then they get out of that and have to stand in the line again. Where, and then the magic storm cloud is coming by and killing everyone who's standing in line to complain. And then they finally get to go see Marceline's dad, and he's like, what is your desire? Pain, pleasure, or like weird punishment?
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, like one of those things where the guy says, pleasure, and then he gets like
no pain,
and
melts half his body, and someone else is like, no, never mind. Are you sure you don't want anything? Are you sure you don't want abs? yeah, I'll take abs. Give me abs. And he turns the demon's head into like a chest with abs.
Anyway, it's like a really funny episode. The one thing that and they wake up in bananas, and like Jake's saying, what's with these bananas? They keep carrying a banana around and showing it to everyone, saying,
like, ew.
What's with the bananas? And they're like, ew. I don't know. And the only thing that would make this episode funnier is if you would have found out what the bananas really were.
Yeah, that's
it was
the payoff of
that was how episode 2 started. The second part of it started with you find out what the deal with the bananas was.
Oh.
Which is basically demons like poop them out their head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ew, the stuff.
Sorry guys, we're too crowded. I'm gonna have to put you in with the stuff.
The best part is they don't call it anything but stuff.
The stuff. Yeah.
Alright, so my next episode, I guess?
Yes.
Yeah.
Vault of Bones. And I like that because it was just
Did you pick Vault of Bones also?
No,
okay.
but I love that episode.
I like
What
Vault
one's
of
that?
Bones. It's the one where they do
That's the
D&D.
dungeon crawl with Flame Princess and
Oh, well,
Where they're like, oh, we gotta go back. No, we get to go back.
yeah,
But the reason that episode is awesome is just because I like shows where with the characters just hanging out, and it's totally about Flame Princess and Finn just hanging out.
yeah, I like it. It makes fun of dungeon crawl games.
Well, it
like
reminds me of a Zelda game, quite
Yeah.
frankly, where it's like, oh, you got to the bottom of this dungeon, you get the key, now you get to walk all the way to the beginning of the dungeon again.
Yeah, they go in. There's a locked chest, and so they go forward further in the dungeon. They find a key. Had to walk all the way back. It's like, oh, it's the wrong key. And then they go further in, and it's just talking about how, you don't have to go back. You get to go back. And it's just this boring, long process of doing, like, nothing.
It also is like one of those episodes where Finn starts to learn how the Flame Princess is and vice versa. Because Finn the entire time is wanting the Flame Princess to do things, not his way, but like, just like...
The way he knows.
Yeah, the heroic way, and Flame Princess wants to just break the rules, which I would probably do if I were her, but...
Yeah.
And so it's just them trying to be compatible, which is pretty funny.
Right?
Yeah, it was funny at the end. I like how at the end she was just yelling at the monster to like...
Do the splits.
To do the splits.
I also like this giant monster, the way they made it scary is it just has chainsaws tied to parts of its body. And
It's
like,
just a giant skeleton with chainsaws
saws.
strapped to it.
Yeah. And so it has some actually strapped to its limbs, and then it has just others like on strings dangling.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
That's a good episode, though.
So for my revised fifth,
It's not Wizard Battle.
no, it's not Wizard Battle. I chose Hitman.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
which one was Hitman?
That's the one where Ice King hires the dude to go slap Finn and Jake.
Yeah, Finn and Jake
I don't think I've seen that episode.
Finn and Jake beat up the Ice King, and he gets really mad, so he's gonna hire someone to, like, slap them or hit them, so he searches for Hitman on the internet, and hires, like,
This fire
fire guy. And so he's going around trying to murder Finn and Jake. Meanwhile, Ice King realizes what's happening, so he keeps saving the day, and Finn and Jake keep getting really upset at him because they don't know what he's doing. And so it's this really funny thing, and I love at one point, Ice King gets the idea the hitman's not gonna stop, so he hires a hitman to kill the hitman, and the second guy's name is Blastronaut, which is an amazing name. But
yeah, the original guy was just named Scorch.
yeah, Scorch. And then the ending is just this really weird one where Ice King realizes he won't stop until Finn and Jake are dead, so he freezes them, and like Scorch actually like picks up Finn's arm and checks his pulse, and there is none. So presumably they're dead, enough that like a professional killer thinks they are. And so he ends the contract and just ends with Ice King sitting on the two ice blocks like a bird sitting on some eggs. And it's an episode I don't see very often, and it's just it has some really amusing parts.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that episode. Or maybe I have, but
It's been a long time.
Okay. So my last, and this actually probably is my favorite one, period, is Too Young, which...
Oh yeah, that makes sense. It's your favorite.
Yeah, it's my favorite one, because like the character in this that I just love is like the Earl of Lemongrab. He's an Earl, is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so Princess Bubblegum, due to some weird stuff that happened previously, has been turned into like a 13-year-old girl. So she's the same age as Finn. And this guy that she's created to take over ruling the place if anything ever happens to her, he shows up and says that she's too young to rule, so he will. And he's this insane dude with a lemon for a head.
He's basically a lemon candy.
Yeah, he's basically like a lemon drop, a human lemon drop, but he's absolutely insane. And like,
He always is screaming.
yeah, okay, one of the things I love is I love people screaming in really weird ways. And like half of this dude's lines are just him screaming. And and he's just completely nuts, and it's just, you know, like everyone hates him because like he's always sending people to the dungeon, and like Princess Bubblegum and Finn keep playing pranks on him and doing like bad stuff, like they put hot sauce in his eyes and like trip him and just
Except for they miss at one point and get it into Peppermint Butler's face. He's just like trying not to freak out.
Yeah, it's really great. One of their pranks, like, Finn's like, I got the best prank. And the next scene, they're wearing, like, sheets, like ghosts. And they run up and just punch Lemongrab in the stomach and run away.
and he's just like oh yeah, because
prank!
yeah, because they've like, because someone told him that they're just playing pranks, so like he's trying to like laugh after they're like just hurting him and shit, and I just like it because, I mean, Lemongrab's always funny because he's weird, but I really like him in this because in this he's not like like later on, he's like a sociopath, where he's like torturing people and just like doing all sorts of like really heinous things. I just like this because it's not even that he's like evil. He's just like fucked up and doesn't understand like anything about social interactions. So he's just like extremely like socially awkward and just like screams all the time. And I just think he's really fucking funny.
I do like Lemon Grab. He's funny.
Anyway, Lemon Grab is probably my favorite character. So
Really?
yeah, he pretty much just because he screams all the time, he's so weird.
My favorite's Marceline, and then BMO, I think.
Huh.
I don't know, I'd have to think for me what my favorite character is. But
Tree Trunks.
I despise Tree Trunks. By the way, she is a character, she falls into kind of the rule of AC/DC where you pretty much have to like or dislike.
Mm-hmm.
I've never met anyone that like knows Adventure Time that has ever said they don't mind Tree Trunks.
It's like you either love Tree Trunks or you hate Tree Trunks.
Yeah. So
I love Tree Trunks.
David loves Tree Trunks, and every other human being I've ever met hates her. Although I do know, like, one of the people who, she, I think, is the one that designed Flame Princess. In a few episodes, she actually sings the intro song. She's done a few other things. Tree Trunks is her favorite character. So there has to be at least one other human being on this planet.
Well, they obviously like her because every season's had at least one episode Tree Trunks.
Yeah.
Dream of love.
That's actually my favorite one, just because like that song is so bad, and I actually just like that one because it's her and that pig, and they're always kissing. Everyone's freaked out and disgusted by it, which is awesome because in that way everyone hates Tree Trunks as much as I do.
Yeah.
And so it's just
I really like the Crystal Apple episode where like
he dies.
Well, okay, the second part where
with
like
the Crystal Men.
the Crystal Men. She's just in the last scene, really. But the episode technically is like saving her. And
Hey guys, I need to drop a crystal donk.
But what is your fifth episode, Mr. David?
I Remember You. Which
Right.
is the episode when it was all about Simon and Marcy.
Oh yeah, so
The first one.
yeah, like we were saying, like the episodes where it shows a flashback of like Ice King and Marceline are usually like the most like emotional episodes, and this is like one of them.
I just kind of like how at the beginning, like, Ice King's really invasive and just shows up and is like, hey, we're gonna play music together. And she's like, I don't want you in my house. Like, what the fuck?
So like, what's the gist of that episode, David?
Well, so Ice King comes over. They want to he wants to start a band with Marceline.
So you can crush it with the ladies.
Yeah, and like Marceline's like really upset because Ice King doesn't remember that they used to be friends before Ice King went crazy. And
Yeah.
so there's like lots of flashbacks with her and like where Ice King's name is Simon, and it's about Simon like kind of looking out for her after the Mushroom War.
Yeah, it kind of has this Alzheimer's thing going on where.
Well, like Crown made him crazy.
Well, I know, I'm not saying like literally in the show he has Alzheimer's, but it's like totally like an Alzheimer's like metaphor thing there where, you know, it's her having to deal with this dude who like doesn't remember anything, and just, you know, her having to deal with this guy that she, you know, really cares about, but who like just doesn't understand anymore what's going on, is just like mentally not there.
See, I like those episodes though that make you like feel for the characters a lot more.
Mm.
Like, I still love every other episode almost.
Yeah.
There are a couple I probably don't like, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. But
Yeah, there are a few that I don't like Web Weirdos. Which...
I love that episode.
You love that.
It's
love
so
that.
gross.
It's gross, but that's about all it has going for it. It's just like
like that bird or whatever who's like, I'm free. Oh, fuck.
I don't know. I hate Bobcat Goldthwait. First of all, he's got like a terrible voice, and he voices one of the characters, and so it's like someone's like taking a barf in my head like all the time whenever he talks.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Another episode David really likes is called Bimo Noir, and like
I just like BMO, and it's a good BMO-centric episode, and the fact that he calls his its other personality football is just really funny.
except that personality's not in that episode.
Football's in there.
Yeah, it's
Football's totally in there. Go watch it.
Alright, we'll watch it when this is over.
I'm not gonna watch it. Yeah, Bima's gender is kind of weird. I call him a he because they do that most of the time, but...
Pendleton Ward's actually said it has no gender.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a computer, so it wouldn't... I mean, it's voiced by a Korean lady, and there's been a couple times where they've called it her, but
Yeah.
normally they refer to Bimo
boy.
as a he.
Yeah.
Except if you go to Toys R Us, there's a action figure, and it calls it a her.
Yeah.
And that's in print. I'm just checking.
Dude, that doesn't show Trump's print.
Yeah, creator of show Trump's print.
Yeah.
No, television show Trump's creator.
That's
like,
true.
Like, I don't care. That's where I'm going on that. Whatever's in the finished product has the final say.
That's true.
Like, if it's creators can, it's interesting to see what the creators have to say about things, but really, when it's all said and done, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to, canon and shit like that, it's all about, the finished product.
True.
Fair enough.
So, I guess that's, 5 episodes each that we
Is it?
enjoy. Yeah.
We all do 5?
We did, yeah.
Yeah, we did 5 each.
Oh.
And, there's certain episodes, I purposely did not choose Goliad because I knew someone else would have Goliad, and both of them did. I didn't choose Card Wars for the same reason, and, really, I have the show on constantly as background noise. It's just, and one of the things with the show, Mike mentioned, there's over 100 episodes, but each episode is only 10 minutes.
Yeah.
With the exclusion of one Christmas special, which is 20 minutes, and then there's a couple 2-parters, which you could, in theory, say that...
Well, kind of.
They count as separate episodes, but, the second part always takes place,
immediately after the first.
Immediately. So, those are listed as separate episodes, or the Christmas special is only one episode.
Which one's the Christmas episode?
It's where you first find out about the Ice King's history.
That's the one where they find all those video cassettes that Ice King threw away at the dump.
And, he sneaks down a chimney wearing red, and he makes a whole bunch of snowmen, one which has an apple, and it's so bright, and then, it's referencing Rudolph, and then he's like, oh, you know what, never mind. If you want something done right, you have to do it yourself, and he puts the apple on his nose. And he freezes their place, so they're all wearing Christmas sweaters. And at the end, they feel bad because they find out about Ice King and his past. So they give him back his cassettes. He's like, you're giving me a gift? We should do this every day. They're like, how about once a year?
Oh.
So it then talks about how once a year they all sit around a fire wearing sweaters and drinking hot cocoa, and they exchange gifts.
I like the episodes with the movie night.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've done multiple movie nights. And
Yeah.
I just kind of like how all the characters hang out.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, I've already said that Lemon Grab is probably my favorite character, just because I like guys who scream a lot.
And Tree Trunks is your least favorite.
Probably my least
What,
favorite.
really?
I just really can't stand her voice. It just...
Her voice and her voice, and they draw her all wrinkly and gross.
She's supposed to be like a granny.
I know, she's gross.
She's
okay,
gross.
that's all I gotta say.
Right, you know what? There might be a reason I like Tree Trunks so much. It's I only had one episode of Adventure Time on my computer a long time ago. And, I play Minecraft a lot, by the way.
Yeah.
Listeners. So, I sat there and watched that one episode of Tree Trunks while I dug out, a gigantic hole in the ground, and that's the only thing I watched.
Well, by that definition, I would hate Tree Trunks so much more if I had to listen to that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Because I had nothing else on my computer, and that's all I did for a week.
Although, I will say, Tree Trunks tends to be in a lot of episodes I like, but she's the part I usually don't like, except in,
That mystery dungeon one.
yeah, the mystery dungeon, because Lemon Grab actually, starts calling her Slave Trunks.
Yeah, slave trunks.
And
they
just
just-
her terrible rant she has.
Yeah, and they treat her like crap. There's this giant fish, and Shelby the worm has this idea to, put someone on bait and get the fish. And so, of course, a worm bait, put it in the water. Instead, he has them tie up tree trunks and they dip her into the water to get eaten.
I like, y'all are telling fibs and who's what's. Why don't you give it to me straight?
Oh, you know who none of these episodes we mentioned is Lumpy Space Princess.
Oh my.
I love LSP!
Yeah, I actually should, I forgot about Trouble in Lumpy Space.
Oh my god, like Lumpy
How did they
Space.
do that?
I don't understand it, because it's like, I never think of Lumpy Space Princess right away whenever I think of this show, but like every time she's on, she's like hilarious.
Yeah.
No, you talked about the monster episode, right? The one.
No, that was when I was referencing episodes trying to create my list. But
Oh.
Lumpy Space Princess is voiced by Pendleton Ward, the creator, and
girl.
of course he's a guy.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he just has really gross voice because
Oh, lumps.
oh my glob.
And
and
it's great how much that show has influenced us, though. 'Cause I say, oh my glob and what the math all the time. I mean, have you seen my ears?
yeah, he's actually wearing Adventure Time earrings. But Lumpy Space Princess is a female and a princess, but at the same time, it's like the most gender neutral character.
Okay, so there's this one part where the Lich has Finn go around and collect all the gems of all the princesses and to make the Enchiridion work, and he's got LSP's gem just bounces off the damn book. Like he goes, boink.
Yeah, they collect all these gems, and all the gems float and like summon into this ring, and LSP's gem just flies and bounces off because it's useless.
I love that part.
Yeah.
It's so perfect.
I also like when they're getting the gem because all of them are these little like spherical orbs, and hers is a star, and they start taking it out. It makes a 6 slop noise, and it's this long star tube.
Yeah. Oh god, it's so perfect. Like if you haven't seen it, look at I don't know what you would look up.
Just
for
look best of Lumpy Space Princess.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, like every time she's on, it's just like amazing, because she's absolutely insane.
She gets like plastic surgery from
Oh.
Ben and becomes like her cyborg.
Yeah,
A combat cyborg.
yeah, it's
No one thinks this look is hot.
no one thinks this looks hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lumpy Space Princess. Even if you don't watch the show, you can type in "best of Lumpy Space Princess," and it's really amusing. Just because that character is really gross and just has really funny lines.
My beans!
Who's she always calling like Melissa?
Melissa, they took my beans. Melissa.
They're in my toilet paper, Melissa. I've got to go.
Oh god.
Yeah, I don't know how. Like, when I was originally creating my list, I was even going to do Trouble in Lumpy Space.
I was trying to think of an LSP episode, and then I got to the end of my list and just wanted to put the back in time one.
Oh yeah.
And I forgot about LSP completely. Oh my god, I feel so stupid. We should have. Okay, so there's a good episode that I don't think is really any of our favorites, but the 5 Glables.
Oh, the 5 short Grables.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually
2 of those.
there's 2 of those, and like I said, the show's only 10 minutes, and this is 5 short stories, so these are like 2-minute, not even, because it has an intro and an outro, like the show.
Does that count part of the 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So the stories are each only like 1.5 to 2 minutes, depending on what they're trying to do.
What are we going?
But in fact, there's a third one of those. It's going to be towards the end of this season.
Good. I like those. Those are fun.
Yeah, they're pretty fun.
I like. Gosh, LSP.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. I was in the potty house. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. Lumpy Space Princess is really fun.
Yeah. Regret not mentioning her earlier.
Yeah, it's very true. Wonderful character, almost always makes me laugh. And if she doesn't immediately, she will soon after.
Yeah. God, it's like 19. What was the?
Oh. It's 1999 already, God!
2009.
2009! There we
God,
go.
it's 2009. Yeah. Yeah, Lumpy Space Princess, man.
Alright, so...
Oh, let's explain. So, what's the deal with the title of our show?
Okay, so our show is called Some Donkus Show, and in one episode called Ghost Princess, they're trying to figure out who or how Ghost Princess died, and they're going around being detectives, and they go to the graveyard where her body is, and they're looking at a gravestone, and it just says, "Here lies some Donkus." And, like,
Yeah, I don't know why, but for some reason, that just cracks me up, like, no matter what. Like, just the fact that, like, some Donkus is just, it's funny sounding.
yeah, and it's, I don't know, there's certain things, like, people, like, occasionally they call people, like, Donkuses. Like, if you actually pay attention, they do that, like, 5 or 6 times throughout the series. And then, whenever people need to poo, they either call it the stuff or donks. So, like,
I had to take a crystal donk.
yeah, the crystal people are like, I need to take a crystal donk. So it's, our show is basically named after just that one line, and it's just
Running joke.
a running joke, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess we're gonna do, like, we've discussed the show, we've explained it, now you know why our show's called Viz. And, I mean, are we gonna do the princess question?
Sure, go ahead and ask it, bro. You're gonna have to go first.
Okay.
Or I'll ask it, you go first, because I don't even know. It's a kind of an odd question, but that's okay. So, Kyle's question to us three is, which princess would you date?
Huh.
Are
Well,
they even legal?
They're
I-
cartoons.
Yeah,
sure.
they're not real humans.
Yeah, they're age
First of all, they're two-dimensional drawings, and second of all, I would warrant that most of them are barely even human-looking.
I recently saw a 3D episode, so...
Yeah, but they specifically say that Princess Bubblegum, who's the only princess who's in that, is 18. So there you go.
Yeah, she is 18.
Yep. I don't know. Like, I almost want to say Hot Dog Princess, because Hot Dog Princess is like a fucking hot dog, which is pretty hilarious. But
Dude, Mikey be porking it to a pork.
this is dating, not humping. Okay. I ain't going down to none of this having sex with hot dogs.
Yeah, basically a dog.
With a dog that is made out of hot dogs. Now, I really like Hot Dog Princess because I think it's funny that, like,
It's
she's
a hot dog.
a hot dog. But, I don't know, I like Princess Bubblegum. She's kind of got that, classic princess look, I guess. I think that's kind of fun, and she's like, I don't know, she seems like she just had to have a good time. She's down. She's pretty smart, and she can get her hands dirty. And...
She'd make you literally the perfect sandwich.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, sure.
Who ate that? Cinnamon bun.
Cinnamon bun.
He didn't even eat it.
He didn't even eat it, he just put it in his stomach.
And then vomited all over her.
Oh, God.
No, I like Princess Bubblegum. I think she's... Well, it's weird, because she either is, like, kind of, like, funny, like, she's gonna play pranks on people, or she's, like, super serious, so...
Yeah, she's kind of all over the place.
Yeah. She's like the perfect example of one of those characters who just behaves however the story, like, wants her to behave, so... I don't know. Actually, my favorite one of them, as far as looks, is, like, Flame Princess, but...
Yeah, but
Yeah.
she's not old enough.
She is 13.
Yeah, and she's, like, completely nuts, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd choose Marceline, but she's a queen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I don't know, I think I'd let that slide,
Okay,
because...
Marceline.
Okay.
What's her dad's name?
Oh man,
Is it like Balthazar?
no, it's,
Werner Langstrom?
no, give me a moment, it'll pop into my mind. Yeah, as far as aesthetics go, like, I think Flame Princess is probably my favorite, and although she's only been in, like, 3 really short instances, I really like what Jungle Princess looks
Jungle
like.
Princess.
But,
Jungle Princess is probably just as crazy as
Yeah.
LSP.
um,
Different crazy, but just as.
yeah, it's something Abadir.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Hudson Apatier.
Hudson Abadir.
Yeah. Yeah, so aesthetically, I would go after Flame Princess or Jungle Princess, but Like, one of those has only been a background princess, there's no personality, and she's too young, but, I don't know, it's kind of a toss-up between, Princess Bubblegum and Marceline for me, because, like, certain episodes I really like, Bubblegum, but when she's hyper serious, I don't like her as much. But, I don't know, I guess I'd probably lean towards Marceline.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd like to say I'm more diverse and go for somebody like a library princess.
It's Turtle Princess.
There's a library princess.
That's Turtle
Or is
Princess.
it Nurse Princess?
Oh,
Nurse Princess isn't a real
Princess Doctor.
Oh,
That's
Doctor
a surname.
Princess. That's her surname, man.
Yeah, she's not a real
And
princess.
Turtle Princess, the one who runs the library.
Turtle Princess. She's gross looking.
I don't know, I guess
Not that I'm against ugly people or anything. It's just like Turtle Princess is the fucking turtle
with hair.
with hair.
Actually, you know,
And she talks real slow.
yeah, I might go for the older of the two breakfast princesses. The other one who's shaped like a piece of toast, not as much.
This is a really strange conversation because, like, 90% of the princesses are only vaguely human-shaped or mainly, like,
A food.
a food or a dog or, like, I don't even know.
Muscle Princess is like just a
Yeah,
green.
Muscle Prince is just like the Hulk, basically.
Yeah, she's like the Hulk. Who, like, doesn't want to wear makeup or do her hair because then it detracts from her muscular arms. But yeah, I don't know, like, yeah. There's our really strange, which freakish monster would you date?
Yeah.
Okay, if you could be anyone, who would it be?
Um,
Not because you like them. Obviously, I wouldn't want to be BMO.
it might be fun to be Jake.
Jake
Yeah.
would be pretty fun. I was gonna say Magic Man.
Magic Man's amazing.
I love Magic Man. Like, Freak City is such a funny episode. And Magic Man's just funny because he's like a dick for no reason. Just because.
I do like Magic.
Magic!
Or might be Peppermint Butler. He's got like all these weird connections.
Yeah, Peppermint Butler is pretty dark.
Yeah, he's mysterious and, like, got
The
this
more you
dark
find out
side.
about him, the more, like, you're like, whoa, he's...
Evil and twisted,
he's like-
but in the nicest way.
He's like best friends with Death or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
And he wants like Finn and Jake's
big skin. And they help him, like, remove some bodies once, so he owes them the favor.
Yeah.
And they,
like what bodies?
yeah, and, like, Peppermint Butler doesn't want them to see his true, like, spiritual aura, because it's basically evil.
Yeah.
If I had to be a character, I don't know. Give me a moment. And both of you answered?
Yeah, I said Peppermint Butler.
Right.
I said Magic Man.
Alright.
Wait, no, because then I'd be all dark and stuff. I don't know.
Well, it's like, I don't know,
Oh, you know what episode I didn't put on there? The one with the businessmen.
Oh, the zombie businessman is so
That was
funny.
such a good episode.
I don't know. Actually, like, Ice King would be pretty fun.
yeah, Ice King or Flame Princess.
Yeah, like one of those dudes with crazy magic powers would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'd be the 2D guy that could, like, grant any wish in that room.
Oh, 2D. Okay. I thought
Like,
you
he's
said,
like that shadow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I thought you said 2D, and I'm like going, 2D?
Okay, I might be that one wizard who, whatever he touches, turns alive.
Oh, yeah. The book's like a Disney cartoon character.
Yeah, and based on the emotions you're feeling, it determines if things are good or evil or their personality.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, in short though, this show is really good.
yeah,
Like, it's
and
still,
insane.
It's still going on strong.
Yeah, I don't think it's really let me down too much.
Yeah, it has the occasional, like, I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, there are some episodes that are, like, definitely, like, worse than others, and kind of there are also some episodes where it seems like they just have, like, a bizarre ending just for the sake of having a bizarre ending.
although, one thing I will say, even in the episodes I don't like very much, they tend to have my favorite jokes.
Yeah, it is kind of weird how that works.
I'm trying to think of an episode I just really don't like. I can't really remember any.
Um,
Like, I know you said Web Weirdos.
Yeah, and Web Weirdas, I don't like that episode very much just because, like, it was, like, way too off from the usual formula of stuff. It was just, like,
Them sitting in
these
that.
two spiders, like, having marital problems and Finn trying to, like, help them through it.
One episode which I will admit makes me laugh, but I'm fine skipping whenever it comes on, is Slow Love.
Oh, the one with the snail.
This giant slug.
Yeah.
Like, I love the scene where, like, Jake is pretending to be a snail,
Yeah.
and he keeps, like, trying to convince Finn to date him, and he keeps switching between a male and female, and it's just really gross and unsettling, but
I know what episode I'm not a fan of. The Lady Rainicorn's parents episode.
Mm.
I don't like that one that much.
Yeah.
And even once again, I don't like the episode really where Jake becomes a dad. That has some really funny parts. But
Yeah, it was that was like one of those weird things where it felt like there was a lot of build up for it, and then it was like,
went nowhere.
And then when you think back on it, you're like, of course it's gonna go nowhere, because otherwise, like,
the show would have been
the entire
too
status
radically
quo of everything would be so radically changed.
Yeah.
Are they ever gonna have the puppies then?
Well, I'm sure they'll show up again.
The puppies that mature so fast they're older than Finn or Jake now.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was how they got away with it.
Yeah, they don't need them around anymore because rainicorns mature really fast. So the puppies or like his children are, for all intents and purposes, are older and more mature than Finn and Jake.
I like that episode I like Dad's Dungeon episode.
Yeah.
That's a good episode.
That was a good episode.
So, kind of off topic, we got on dogs. I wonder if the last episode of Family Guy will be like Brian dying.
One can hope.
You don't like Brian?
I don't like most of the characters.
I liked Brian before he just became like a mouthpiece for
Yeah.
Seth MacFarlane to like talk about what all of his political views in the most like bald way possible. Where he'll be like, "Hey, this is the episode about legalizing marijuana. Brian is going to literally talk for 3 minutes about all the pros about smoking marijuana and how people who are against legalizing marijuana are stupid." It's like, I agree with you. I agree with your points, but Seth MacFarlane, but this is like the most inelegant, like, horrible
It was
way
a comedy TV show.
of like structuring an argument possible.
I do really like him in the episode where they go to the South, or he and Peter are the sheriff and deputy.
Yeah, but that was back when the show was actually like kind of like.
I still like that show.
I mean, that show still has some funny parts, but it's like, it's just so lazy. Man.
Yeah, the old episodes, the difference was they actually had a story. Like, they'd have a story and, like, non-sequitur jokes and jokes that apply to the episode. And the show still can be funny and has amazing jokes and good episodes. But anymore, it's like trying to throw a story into Robot Chicken. Just cut out the middleman, just do the non-sequitur jokes, and it'd be just as popular.
But see, like, it's hard for me to argue with you guys about this, because I still watch the show, like, every day. Not every day, but, like, every time a new episode comes out, and
Right.
it's not that way. I mean, they still have, the non sequiturs and stuff, but there's, like, a story behind it.
But
No, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't be like shit talking it that much. I have much different reasons for.
I totally understand, like, the whole Brian thing, though. Like, he does do that a lot.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna, and yes, there is story.
No,
but,
my reasons for disliking the show are something completely different. And that's just has to do with like where a lot of the humor is coming from.
Yeah.
rather than
Oh,
anything
okay.
else.
But, like, what I mean by the just cut out the story is just, like, so much of it is Peter does he does his thing.
Meg's ugly.
They just shit on Meg. Lois just seems to be there to be annoying. Brian's there to be, like, stand on a soapbox and be the mouthpiece, like Mike said. And Stewie's there to do, like, gay jokes. And, like, the characters are... Every time I just go back and watch a new episode, it just seems like the characters do the identical thing. And so the stories just... Yes, they are different, and you could, like, easily say what happens in each episode, but I find the characters so uninteresting that I don't care about the story at all. And so I just rather it cut out and they just do their non sequitur jokes.
That's how I feel about Simpsons now. I cannot stand Homer.
The characters in that I don't like either.
Well,
for the
Homer's
same
gone
reason.
beyond stupid. He's like mentally disabled. Like, he should not be a father. His children should be taken away from him.
They've actually done that in, like, at least one episode.
Like, so should Peter, but, like, everybody's fucking crazy in that show, whereas there's actually, like, sane people in
The Simpsons.
The Simpsons.
Yeah. That's true. The thing with The Simpsons is that it's become such like an institution now, where it's been on TV for like, over 20 years, that like, and literally, unless one of the main characters dies, I mean, that's to say the people who voice them, that show will never fucking end. Cause I don't know, it's just reached like this point of momentum where it'll go on for forever.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I find that really fascinating that it's become such like a thing now where, it can never end. But at the same time, it's also like incredibly boring in like a lot of ways, because now it's gone to the point where none of the characters can like even, you can't even pretend any of the characters are going to change in any meaningful way.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying about Brian dying or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it seems like in Family Guy, at least changes can happen.
Yeah, that is one thing I'll say about Seth MacFarlane, is he's definitely willing to like make some changes to like the status quo for stuff. So.
I read a thing on Kotaku recently saying that actually a lot of the good writing talent has gone to the Cleveland show. Like, it's supposed to be really funny.
Huh.
But I'm so wary about watching it because I don't really like American Dad that much. I think it's funny, but it's like, I'd rather watch Family Guy.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I know you're like the opposite.
Yeah, I'm like the opposite, just because like I think American Dad does a better job of like having like a coherent story.
I will admit,
and like characters that actually behave like real people.
I will admit, when that show started,
when that show started,
it was like they took the parts of Family Guy that I disliked the most, and they did that, but like a more family safe version. And thankfully they deviated and made it their own show. And as it's gone on, I've come to like it more, but I used to despise that show. I'd choose Family Guy any day of the week.
Well, what kills me is I just do not like...
The alien.
No. I don't mind Roger. I just think it's kind of funny.
You don't like Stan?
I cannot stand Stan.
Oh, gotcha. Just
Stan.
Yeah.
Like, he's just such a terrible, lying, manipulative person.
That's kind of the point, though.
I know, I don't like it.
Yeah, and see, that's kind of how...
But the second part of that, though, is not every episode focuses on him.
Yeah, which... I love their episode where they're making fun of MMOs. That is still one of my favorite episodes.
I don't know if I've seen that episode.
I have it on DVD.
That one's really funny.
It's amazing. It's all about the kids playing the MMO.
Oh, wait, no, I have seen that one now. I just don't remember anything about it.
Where you say the character's name backwards and he dies?
Yeah.
Isn't
that Rumpelstiltskin?
Nah. Well, Rumpelstiltskin, if you can say his name, like, that's how she wins.
Yeah, because he, like, better that...
She couldn't
through some convoluted thing, she's like, I don't want to give you my baby, Rumpelstiltskin. And he's like, well, you must, because I spun all this straw into gold for you. And she's, like, crying, so he's like, alright, since I'm not, like, a completely evil monster troll, if you can think up my name, if you can guess my name within, like, 2 days from now, we'll call things square. And of course, she's like guessing every single name there is, and then like, then some woods cutter is like, spies Rumpelstiltskin when he's out in the middle of the woods, like singing and dancing about how awesome he is, and he actually says his name, and so then the woods cutter like tells, the princess, and then she tells Rumpelstiltskin, he gets so pissed off, that he stamps on the ground so hard that he falls into hell.
Really?
Yeah.
So I like how we started with Adventure Time and now we just regaled you with the tale of Rumpelstiltskin.
Well, that sounds about right.
Yeah. That's kind of how stuff goes, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we can honestly just mention, we could mention, Bill Clinton, and within, 10 minutes we could have the topic being about flying dinosaur laser fights in space.
Yeah,
it's how we work.
How stuff goes. But this episode is looking to be
1:14.
Yeah, a fair bit shorter than our other ones. So,
yeah.
But
I mean, we're getting better at it. I think.
No, I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing or whatever. I'm just I would have thought that. Well, then again, we have only been primarily talking about one thing for the whole time. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we'll call it a night and let y'all go.
Fuck you, San Diego.